Hello and welcome to the File Card Podcast. My name's Joe and I'm here with my brother Mike.
Hey everyone.
We are back after a very long hiatus.
You know, our last show, Joe, I made a joke about us having our next show at Valentine's Day, but we missed that show.
Yeah, we did. It literally took the world, or at least feeling like the world's coming to an end for us to get back at this. But it's not. That's the good part.
No, it's not. And, you know, in moments like this, what better to do than talk about G.I. Joes?
That's right. I think that's what we could all use. 45 minutes or so to forget about everything else.
Well, if that is the biggest news story of the day, the second biggest news story of the day is that today's your birthday.
It is. Today I am officially 38 years old.
I was thinking about it. That's 20 years longer than we expected to get out of you, Joe.
How things have changed.
Now you're the most boring man I know. So what did you get for your birthday?
Oh, listen, I got G.I. Joes for my birthday. I haven't got a G.I. Joe for my birthday since 1991 when I got the Badger and Sci-Fi.
Okay, now that is not true because last year on air I gave you a G.I. Joe.
Oh.
What a jerk. I didn't get you anything this year. I'm glad.
Yes. Oh man, I feel so bad. Yes, you gave me dice.
Yeah, I'll just take that back.
You know, he's still on the card. I've never opened him.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it means a lot to you. Yeah. What did your wife get you?
No, let's get back to dice for a second. I was just looking at him the other day, and that's how bad my memory is getting.
That must have been a real great moment the other day when you were looking at it.
And I was thinking to myself, I could open him, and I'd like to open him. I worry that I'm going to collect Men on Card one day, and then I'll be angry with myself and have to pay 10 times what you paid for it.
Well, just leave him on card now, I suppose.
Anyway, moving on.
So
morning,
the second one you've gotten since you were 12 or whatever it was, right?
Right, the second G.I. Joe. Well, for 2 years in a row now, I've gotten a G.I. Joe for my birthday, and that hasn't happened since the early 90s. So
Okay.
That's a more accurate statement.
Right. Okay. Enough of this. What'd you get?
Okay, my wife and kids got me a bag Steel Brigade, version D.
Was that the version you had?
Yeah, the same exact version I already had, but it was in bag and in mint condition. Thing with it was slightly opened and somebody had removed the gun from the bag. But it still had the patch, the backpack, and the figure was mint.
Oh, that's awesome. What's the patch like?
You know what? It's great. Can you see it here? It makes for great podcasting. Asking if you can see this.
Oh,
but,
yeah, the colors are really good.
Yeah,
Like,
super bright. I mean, it's been up because it's been in the package for 30 years. But oh yeah, just so you know, I did open it because it was already opened. Basically, I just had to slide the figure out and the contents of the bag. The patch is different than the other patch that you had picked up for me at Toy Palooza, I think, which we were talking about on the last show. So I put them up to each other. This one seems to be maybe just slightly smaller, and it's a thinner material than the other patch. Also, on the back of it, the first patch I have is like a translucent. You can see through it, and this one is solid black on the back. And I know I'm sounding crazy when I'm getting into variants of patches, but I don't know. I love this stuff, so I thought it was cool to just add something a little different to the collection.
Right, and it'll be interesting to see how many different variations you find over the next couple of years.
Yeah. Well, the other thing was it really wasn't a big deal that it was missing the rifle because, I don't know, a couple months ago off of Instagram, I picked up a small lot of weapons. And in that in that lot, I thought it had Steel Brigade's rifle, the XM16, the one that originally came with Airborne, but then was recolored for Steel Brigade. But once I got the lot, I realized I think it's not actually Steel Brigade's. It was the one that came with the what was the oil rig?
Guy?
No, the one with the oil rig.
The battle platform.
Yes, the battle platform. On that one, there was what they call the translucent gray. And I think it was that version, but it's in his hand right now, and you can't tell the difference when it stands on sitting on the shelf. So it don't bother me one bit.
That's awesome.
Definitely stoked about that, and I posted a picture of it this morning, so it's cool. So I think my goal now is I would love the Army build Steel Brigade, but with those prices, it's just not practical. So I'm gonna do my best just to collect one of A through D. That's my goal right now.
That's cool. Giving up on the Army building is probably, just given the price, probably a little more practical, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, if you got the money, they're out there. But it's just, is that where you want to put all your collecting dollars is in the one figure? Well, right. I mean, I don't just yet, because there's a whole lot of things out there I still want.
Well, we brought up kind of the cost of collecting, and obviously, it's been a tough week for folks. 3.3 million people got laid off recently. Just, being on eBay a little bit, you can kind of see that some of the prices are already taking a hit. Maybe not those top-end figures, but those kind of middle-of-the-road stuff. It seems like some of those prices are coming down already.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that too. And even before everything just hit this week real hard, I started noticing posts online that people were just, they were at home, they're quarantined, they were just going through their collections, and they were able to dig through and find, some of the stuff they were planning on selling and being able to get back to that. And I hope it doesn't get to the point where people have to start selling their collections, to pay the rent. But, I guess it's good that they have that collection in the background, if they need it. So, but hopefully this thing gets over and everybody gets back to work real soon.
Well, a couple months ago, I came down to visit you.
Hold on. I got another birthday present.
Oh.
I did. This one I bought myself a few days ago. It is a 1991 Flint Eco Warrior.
Nice.
Now, I got him mint on card. Well, let me backtrack a little bit.
You got a mint on card?
Mint on card. Listen, so this thing's been going on for me for a couple weeks now. And originally I was working half days and then at home, and, everything's being canceled and the world's just a mess. And I was like, I need to focus on something. And the Eco Warriors just popped in my head one day, or I saw something about them. I think I was looking through the Ultimate G.I. Joe Collector's Guide. And I was like, yeah, and the hazmat suits just stuck out to me. And I was like, you know what? Well, I'm stuck here at the house. That's where I'm going to put my energy right now. It's just trying to collect these guys. Because I know a lot of people, they're not real big fans of them. But when we were kids in 91, we absolutely loved them. I know as an adult collector, they don't display well with their giant water guns and whatnot. But man, that color changing and those commercials were so much fun.
Yeah, I remember being so excited the first time they came out in the cartoon. Do you remember that? Because I feel like we had them for a while before we got to see them in the Deke series.
Yeah.
Or not
yeah, it is the Deke series. So they're kind of scattered through season 1 a little bit in the Deke series. I think they're just kind of here or there. But I watched it this morning. This is like literally what I did. Like first thing when I woke up this morning, I put on G.I. Joe. I logged into Tubi, and all the episodes are on there for free. So I just clicked on Deke, and on the second season, there they were. And it's a whole Deke series or episode. It's complete Dekeness. But it was so much fun just to watch the product placement of all the Eco Warriors, of the gliders, of Skymate. I really recommend it. Season 2, episode 1, just for a laugh. I think everybody should just check that out if you have any memories as a kid, because the product placement is just perfect, and it's just so in your face that I understand at 9 years old why I enjoyed it so much.
I find it interesting that you kept the fact that you were looking for these guys from me. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
I don't know.
Was this like an underground, like, I'm going to go around and try to pick one I don't want my friends to know?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I've just been looking at them. And then the other thing I did is there's the save search feature, right? So I made sure on eBay, if you guys don't know about it already, you can save your searches and you'll get an email every morning with the new ones that come up. So while I drink my coffee in the morning, at 6 o'clock, I get, 25, 35 emails, and I get to see all the new stuff's posted. So it's been just the highlight of going in there and seeing the Eco Warriors stuff. And this popped up, I think it was on Monday, and boom, buy it now price was just a little bit more than what you would pay for a complete loose one. So I jumped on it because the card wasn't perfect, which is perfect for me because I want to collect the full back card backs. I definitely want to do that over time. So I would be able to knock that out with this one. I would be able to get a mint figure, and the price point was perfect, and I wouldn't have to feel bad about opening it because a normal mint on card collector, it's really not what they were going to go after.
Right.
So yeah, it just was a win all the way around. Here's the kicker though. When I got him home, and I used the razor blade to open, just go down that plastic just around it, not to tear it up. Take him out. His paint isn't perfect. After all that work. Just, the quality control just wasn't the best back then, I guess, in 91. And then the top of his head is the black from his hair. It's missing a decent amount of paint. I think maybe that was just from, being bumping that plastic for all those years, being jiggled around, would be my guess.
Have you used with Sharpie yet?
What's that?
Have you tried to Sharpie it?
I don't want to do that. I think it's pretty noticeable when you do. So I think I'm just going to leave it alone for right now. If I come across another one, just while we're out and about, I'll pick it up and swap the head out later on.
So are you going to try to get them all?
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to get Flint, which I just picked up. He was, my favorite as a kid from them. And then Ozone, we never had him, but he was just cool as heck to me. We always wanted him.
Is that the blue one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Clean Sweep. We had two of him as a kid. That was your favorite, right?
Yeah, I think I used him as a doctor.
Okay, I get that.
I don't know why. I think I used him as like a medic. I don't, he probably was tougher than that, but that's what I used him as.
And then Cesspool, you got the Toxo Viper, and then, I can't remember the name of the third one. We had the green and purple Toxo Viper. Yeah. But then there was the yellow and blue one. Sludge Viper, I think's his name. We never had that one. So those are the ones that I'm going after. And then in 92, they had some more, but I'm just going to focus my energy on those 91 guys. And I think once a week is where I'm going to be at. I'm going to try to pick up one from eBay. And eBay's, we've always talked about it. It's, we try to go to the stores, but that's not, or the shows, but those aren't happening. I mean, everything's closed. Every show is canceled for a while.
Right. Yeah. I was, when I was waiting for you to call me, I was going through eBay and, I was seeing some stuff I was interested in. So I was hitting the like button like crazy. I'm going to go back after we get off here. I don't know, maybe bid on something. I haven't bought anything for a while.
One more thing. Do you remember in the commercials, because I specifically remember this, Flint's helmet had silver on the eye visor. You know what I mean? Yeah. It had the chrome. And I remember getting that as a kid and it not being there like it was in the commercial and being disappointed. So I do have an extra helmet that we just picked up over our travels. And I got some silver paint out in the garage. So as this thing continues and we're stuck in the house, I think I'm gonna try to redo it, make one myself.
That's awesome.
I'm sure that it's gonna look like crap because I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm gonna give it a whirl.
You gotta start somewhere.
That's right. That's right.
Just one more thing on the. So, what was their proper name?
Eco Warriors.
Eco Warriors. All right. Cesspool, one of my all-time favorite villains.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt.
The head sculpture with the kind of the beady eye and the scar down the face, or down the eye, right side, left side of the face, whatever it is. I mean, just a great bad guy. And the chainsaw weapon.
Right, and the other thing that was amazing about that was the card art. Like, if you looked at the card art on that one, he looked frightening.
Yeah. Yep. So I think there was a time he was my Cobra leader. I don't know if I had lost Cobra Commander, but he was my Cobra leader for a few years.
Yeah, I remember it. I remember it being that way also. So, but anyway, we'll get done with my birthday, but 2 years in a row, successful G.I. Joe birthday, 37 and 38 for me.
Yeah. You won't be getting another one from me. So, Joe, I don't know, back in November?
November? It's been a while.
We came down to see you down there in Charleston, and we took a little trip.
Yeah, we took a little trip that wasn't that little, and we took, 6 kids with us?
Yeah. Yeah, it was basically
So Mike brought his family down to stay with my family for the weekend, and our wives decided to go on a shopping trip. And then me and Mike had all the kids, and we weren't staying in the house all day. We were going G.I. Joe shopping. Like complete crazy people. We threw all the kids in the car, or SUV. I don't want to make it seem like we had a clown car. Everybody did have seatbelts and car seats.
Like an old 80s station wagon, the big kids in the back facing backwards.
The only thing that could have made the story better is if that we weren't in a Honda Pilot and we were in a station wagon from the 70s.
We come down and our wives go thrift shop because that's what they do. So me and Joe, we map out some different G.I. Joe shops. One of them is about an hour away. We're cruising down the road and we're like, you know what, let's get the kids milkshakes, because me and Joe, we're stoked. We get some money in our pocket. We're going to G.I. Joe's. We're happy. So we get the kids milkshakes at, 9:30 in the morning?
Yeah, we literally, I think we got 2 coffees, 4 milkshakes, and a couple pops.
Yeah, so I mean, just really hitting a home run from a parenting standpoint, So we're cruising down the road, and Joe mentions that there's this indoor flea market. Sometimes, one of the vendors has G.I. Joes. So we go off on the exit ramp. Joe kind of slows down, and my daughter drops her full McDonald's strawberry milkshake all over the.
Well, this is about 30 minutes down the road after we had gotten the milkshakes, so they were completely runny. It was just like this liquid ooze, boom. And of course, we didn't buy them smalls. I don't know what the heck my problem was. I should have got all the kids smalls. I didn't. I got mediums or larges. I don't know. But there was a ton of content in that cup, and it oozed through the entire back floor. It was everywhere. So we ended up pulling up into a gas station, and we start to try to clean it out. And then, I can't remember the details, but they wouldn't give me a bag or something, so I had to buy something. Oh, we needed a bag to put in the floor mats. After we bought in a couple gallons of water, and we were washing the floor mats off.
And windshield wiper fluid as soap. We bought a thing of windshield wiper fluid.
Oh, what a catastrophe. This is a caveat, the back end of that story. We didn't want to tell the wives about it. So we rolled up that floor mat, this big, long 3-person floor mat that goes in the center row of the Pilot. And we stuck that in a plastic bag, and then there's a little stowaway compartment all the way in the back, and we put it in the back there, and we said when we get home, we will clean it up. Well, we never did, and my wife found it 3 weeks after that because there was a disgusting smell in her car. She was not happy. Not happy at all. But anyway.
No, here's what's relieving about that. There must actually be milk in those milkshakes that McDonald's served. I would have never guessed that. I'm somewhat relieved. I don't know.
I'm happy for you. So what happens next? So we get down the road, and where did we stop? I can't remind me of their first stop.
Well, the first stop was by the Boys in Blue.
Oh, yeah. So that was when we get over the West Virginia line and we get into Kentucky. And right over the border, about 5 minutes, is a nice vintage toy shop. And we're going up a hill. It's a 4-lane hill. And I see the officer coming down the hill. And I look down and I'm doing 57. And I immediately look to my right because there's a speed limit sign. And it says 35. And I was like, dang it. And I look in my rearview mirror and he's turning around. So I know I'm done. Pull over. He gets out. Make a long story short, my daughter cried for about a half hour. And the officer still gave me a ticket. But he definitely did cut me a break.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Before before we even got to the toy store, I was out $150.
Right. So that money that you used to have in your pocket that we were all excited about has been spent plus some.
Yes.
Right. So we're into the G.I. Joe fights at this point. We get to the store, and you've posted a picture of it before. It's Inner Geek.
Yes.
And what's neat is they put them all in these clamshells. They're a little bit bigger. They have the Inner Geek card back. They make themselves, and they're all on pegs, and it's very, very cool. Just love looking at it.
And they have a ton. I mean, like hundreds of G.I. Joes to go through. All different conditions. I mean, from something that's barely together to something that looks like it just came out of the package, 20 years ago.
Right, and like you said, there's hundreds of them, so it takes some time. Well, me and Joe have 4 girls combined, ages 4, 5, 9, and 10. So they were clearly not amused by the geek shop.
No, there was zero interest. And anything they were interested in, they wanted to touch, and it was very expensive.
Right. But fortunately, the guys in the shop were pretty cool. I've been in other toy stores that it wouldn't have been nearly as acceptable to have kids with us.
Yeah. So and then Joey and Eli. Yeah, Joey's 15, so he was just there. Eli was having a good time though.
Yeah, he was. He had been looking through him. He ended up picking up the Range Viper, the 2001 version of the Range Viper. They end up changing his name. I can't think of what it is.
Yeah.
So he was good. I found 2 guys that day, or at that shop, that I really liked. I got my second and upgrade, and this one is an upgrade. Stinger Driver, which is actually the only character that I'm army building at currently. This is one of those ones that I've always kind of wanted as a kid. Loved the Stingers in the show, and just, I don't know, the gray kind of makes him look like a German soldier, and I have a lot of interest in World War II and just fascinated by everything that happened back then, and just love him. Love the look of the soldier,
Yeah, it just feels real military-esque.
Right. And so I picked him up, and then the other guy I picked up, I was real excited about it at the time, but not so much anymore. I picked up a Sky Striker, Tiger Force Sky Striker, and at the time he was very reasonable. I think it was like $20, which for a Sky Striker, no accessories, this isn't a bad price. Just the more I looked at him, I'm like, okay, this arm's a little bit loose. There's a couple scratches here. I don't know. I've been very critical of him. I tried to display him a couple times, but I find him hard to display. So I have some buyer's remorse, I think, for this guy.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap either. That's what makes it a little bit tough. But, I mean, he's a hard one to get down. And the other thing is you were just excited to see him that day. I think that's the first time you had saw him in person, right?
Yeah. Maybe I had seen him, with the Rattler before. But that was kind of the first time I got to see him close and hold him. So I felt bad walking away, especially because he could be a $60 guy sometimes, maybe even more. Mm-hmm. He has all of his accessories. So it's that he's bad in any way. And I wanted to kind of mention this to you, and I talked about it a little bit, but like the longer I'm into collecting, the better grade of figure I want.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Like I'm a truly a paint guy. I mean, that's first and foremost what I look at in a figure.
And so I feel like if I'd have bought this guy maybe when we first started collecting again, I would have been totally happy and accepted. But now I tend to want nicer all the time. That's because I think you the longer you collect, the more you train your eye. So that was what I picked up that day there. What did you get?
I only got one figure. I remember seeing a bunch, but I had the thought of I just dropped $150 on absolutely nothing, and then I have to go home and tell my wife about it. So I only picked up one that day, but he's a good one. I picked up Barbecue, so fairly common figure. But holy cow, I mean, he is hard to get in mint condition, and this one's just about perfect. So I was really, really stoked to find him. I mean, the front of his mask has got that silver, and that wears away real quick, and this one didn't. And then also the tattoo or the patch tampo, just solid on this one. And then in my original collection that I sold in the early 2000s, I had one of these, and I loved him, and because I always wanted him as a kid, and then I'd finally gotten him. And then when I sold that collection, I remember thinking I shouldn't let him go. So now that once we're back and we're collecting again, I've seen him all the time, but I wasn't gonna buy one that was downgraded from that original version I had. And then now having it, finding him that day, he was perfect. So, as soon as I got him home, he went up in the display case, or at least within a few days, and he's going to be hard to take out. Even though, he basically just shot water on the cartoon, he was always one of my favorite characters from the Sunbow series.
Yeah, and he was a bit of a smart ass. You know what I mean? He kind of had that Boston smart ass to him,
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed him. I thought he was a cool character.
One of the other pieces I love about him is that you can actually connect his water nozzle or gun, I don't know exactly what you want to call it, to the side of his leg. And most of the time, or a lot of times, that's broken off. And on this one, it's not. And I think it just displays so well with the hose, and once you clip it on the side there.
Nice. Another thing about that figure I like is he has a two-toned axe.
Yeah.
Which hardly any of the accessories or weapons, back then had any sort of two-toning to them.
Right, yeah. No. They did the silver tip on the axe, which really just sets the axe off. The amount of attention and detail they put into it. Those little things, like just that little extra paint app, is really one of those things that make the figure. So, and then here's the other thing. What a cool toy in itself is just to have that axe. You know what I mean? Like, you could put that on almost any figure and it would look cool.
Right. Well, the first time I saw the axe, I actually came home and looked it up in the book. I didn't buy the figure, but I assumed that didn't go with it.
Okay.
Yeah, because at that moment I didn't. I mean, offhand, I can't think of anything else during that era that is like that.
Right. No, I could see how you would be confused or just didn't know. So we finish up there, and then we head to the second Inner Geek in Huntington, West Virginia.
Which they don't have quite as good selection. I mean, they have a lot of guys, right? But I'd say the better figures are the first store. But they had some good stuff there.
They did. Now, I had been there quite a few times, and their stock, it doesn't change a whole lot. But so I was familiar with what we were going to see on the pegs there.
Well, they did have some. They had some guys of interest, but we had already kind of purchased. I'd already bought two for the day, so I ended up coming across a complete mutt. Now the condition wasn't the greatest, but he had all of his accessories, and they were all in very good condition. So I was kind of waffling back and forth as to whether or not I wanted him. Ultimately, I decided, hey, all the accessories there, I'm going for it.
And then Natalie came over, and she was looking through the G.I. Joes, and she decided she wanted to get Law and Order. So I made sure I picked that one up for her.
Right. And then on the way out, we see the flag. They have a flag.
Yep. Right in the front window. But we came in on the right, and this was on the left-hand side of the store. So we had completely missed it.
So, the guy, I don't know, it's a younger kid working it. I say a kid, he was probably about 22. And he says, like, $900, you can take it. And so me and Joe start thinking, right? We start
looking at each other.
Like, maybe we should do this. And seeing how Joe had already spent $150, we decided against it. But we're walking out to the parking lot. Natalie opens up her Law and Order, and she's looking at him. And then I'm like, I'd like to look at Law and Order, or Law, if you will. And what do? I drop him in the parking lot, and I snap his crotch. Have you ever heard of somebody dropping one and snapping its crotch?
No, But I mean, I don't know a whole lot. I haven't talked to a whole lot of adult people who, are in parking lots dropping 30-year-old G.I. Joes either.
Yeah, well, a normal person could have waited till he got to the car to look at it. That's what a normal, fully well-adjusted adult would have done. But I'm none of those things. So I had to look at it while we walked through the parking lot, dropped it, snapped the crotch. We immediately get home, and I order one on eBay right away.
Yeah.
So that she can have one.
And while you're doing that, I am swapping the rubber band or the O-ring in your mutt. And I flip it over, and I over-tighten him. And crack. I split him. Ruin the torso. In half. Yep.
So at this point, you would think, that's a heck of a day. Let's call it a quit. No, we didn't. We decided to go trick-or-treating. So we go trick-or-treating, and my oldest daughter starts complaining her belly hurts. Well, they've been eating candy and running and stuff all day, so I just kind of thought, no big deal. Well, she is just miserable through the whole time. And like a good parent, I automatically assume she's being whiny. And I'm like, play with kids, hang out with your cousins. And it turns out she wasn't feeling well. How do we know for sure that she's not feeling well? Well, we go to a restaurant afterwards, and when we walk in, she immediately throws up her lunch.
So that changed our dinner plans real quickly.
Yes, so then we have to go back to the house. We get takeout. Once we get back to the house, Jody decides. I'll never truly understand what made him think this was going to work, but go ahead.
Well, the kids, Natalie and Eli are upstairs, or ask if they can go upstairs and play with the G.I. Joes. And somehow Still Brigade comes up. And I said, yeah, he's meant to be played with. So I take him out of the case, and I hand him to the kids, and I tell them to be careful, or they say they're going to be careful. And I tell them, I know you will be. I'm not worried about it at all. Well, that was a mistake. So I want to say less than 10 minutes. Would you agree?
5 max.
Yeah. They come back downstairs, and they both are almost in tears. And they walk up to me, and boom. They had Still Brigade was on a foot peg, and they had broken off the foot peg into his foot. These things happen in war. So it is what it is. And I'm upset, obviously, but not really at them. I'm annoyed at myself. But, I tell them everything's going to be okay and we will handle it tomorrow. So me and you kind of look at each other, just give each other the look and go on with the rest of the night. So the next morning, we stayed up pretty late. I think we stayed up playing cards. Woke up without much sleep. But Still Brigade is the first thing on my mind. So I got out to the garage. I get the power drill. I get what I believe to be small enough bits. And I start trying to drill it out. And, it's now like 7:15 in the morning. I am standing over my kitchen sink, drilling into the foot of a Still Brigade figure. And I'm like, what in the world is wrong with me? I have no idea what I'm doing. Like this, it's not just like easily coming out. I'm like, I just gotta stop. I'm just gonna ruin this thing even more. Like you just use the other leg, right? I mean, that's the peg foot for moving forward. And now do not let the kids play with 30-year-old action figures if you care about them.
Right, and you would think that we knew that, right?
Right.
You would think that you and I would have known that prior to that moment.
Right. I feel like half this podcast is just me continuously talking about my love of Still Brigade. I mean, so anybody who listens know, like, I drove like 9 hours that day to acquire that figure. And then I allowed the kids to play with them. Like, am I out of my mind?
You probably just had too many beers. You probably just had...
Like I said, we were playing cards. We were in good moods. That was the other thing. When I was drilling out his foot in the morning, I was just thinking, like, yeah, you got to start making better decisions, guy.
So, well, that was pretty much an eventful, just It was a Joe shopping trip. It was bad parenting. It was, brothers being brothers. There was just a lot going on there.
It was an interesting weekend.
Well, that's kind of all the time we got for today, huh?
Yeah, yep, that's it. So, listen, me and Mike are gonna have some free time on our hands, so hopefully we'll be able to get these out to you guys a little more often.
Yeah, and thanks for all the kind words for everybody that's hit us up on Twitter and sent us messages. We appreciate it, and we're gonna try to do a little better to get it out. But if you know anything about us, we'll probably disappoint.
On the next show, though, a lot of you guys have sent us emails and messages on Twitter and some of the cool things you guys have been doing, and we want to respond and talk about those. So we're going to try to get those into our next show.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right. Take care.